Hey everyone, this is Driftwood speaking for Gamerside, and today I am truly very happy to be able to tell you about my experience on a preview build of Tchia, a game developed by a French studio Awaseb. It's a team of 9 people, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and they've done an amazing job. Game will come out next spring, so they still have time to polish things up. But I've enjoyed my time on the preview build on PC, and I can't wait to basically be able to explore this world more, as I was more or less stuck on a big main island, but I really feel like I want to see a lot more of the game. I'm not going to be able to tell you much about the story, as the preview build opens in chapter 3, I think on chapter 3, and we have little to no information other than what the developers told us, that Tchia is looking for a father who's been kidnapped by some bad guy. We don't really know why, and she has some special abilities, and that also is not very clear why she can use soul jumping to control animals or different objects in the world. And on this island, when she arrives, she's going to meet a few characters that I believe will be important in the rest of the story. But for this woman, for example, all she asks us when we arrive is basically to get her a crab. So we have to find it, and so we can get used to the surroundings around the village and find this place where there are crabs. There's also this mini game that we can play early in this preview build if we follow the main quest, and it's a sort of cooking mini game. It's merely a quick QTE, but it works well. It's also a way for the developers to put forward the food of New Caledonia, because it's the place where they're from for at least the 2 co-founders, if I'm not mistaken, again. So it's you can tell it's a love letter to this place, to this island, and actually makes me want to go there. And I think a lot of people are going to be like me, because it's beautifully done. And I'm going now to tell you about the gameplay mechanics, so that you understand what Tchia is about. Tchia is set as in an open world. I had access to the main island. It's a big one, but I couldn't go further, which was a bit frustrating, as I really wanted to explore and be able to see a lot more than what I was given, although I feel lucky again that I was able to do that. The mechanics are very reminiscent of some of the Zelda games, and Breath of the Wild comes to mind, but Zelda the Wind Waker, I would say, is a game I thought of a lot when playing Tchia. So you basically have to explore the island, use soul jumping here to take control of the wildlife you see around you, or even objects like rocks or coconuts, for example. And you wouldn't believe how fast a rock can roll down a slope, or even when you're on the beach, you can actually go faster as a rock than when you run as Tchia. If you can believe it. But yeah, it's a game that lets you take the time to enjoy the place, to enjoy the scenery as you fly as a bird, and you get to see these beautiful vistas and the sunsets, and the colors. It's a very colorful game. It's also a very peaceful game, and you can just choose to again go up the beaten path, not follow the main objectives or quests, and just discover what the world has to offer you, and well, one thing that I enjoyed obviously are the landscapes that truly look amazing for this type of art. Again, I'm impressed by what Awasab, the developers, have done with a team of 9 people. And there's tons of little things, like you can basically dress your character because you unlock different things. You find chests. There are a lot of things you can unlock when you explore the world and when you do certain activities. And then you can change your hairdo. You can add accessories. You can even change the way your ukulele is going to look like. And if you want it to look like an electric guitar, like a Flying V, for example, you can. And I think it's a lot of fun. But these things are all optional. But it's really a game that's so inviting that you really want to do all these things. You don't want to rush things out. You want to take your time. You want to feel the atmosphere and the music, and the 2 co-founders are from New Caledonia, and this is where the story is set, and you can tell they just love this place and they want us to know about its culture, the food, the music. You can actually play the ukulele freely, and you can do songs basically. Well, probably not as well as if you own a real one, but it's still very nice. So it will remind people of The Last of Us Part 2, but in a very different type of world, right? In a world where, even though Tchia's father was abducted, there's joy and camaraderie and friendship and peace in a way in this world. So Tchia can swim underwater. She needs stamina for that, as she needs also stamina to climb on cliffs, although I would say the climbing will probably not be as important as in Breath of the Wild. You need also your stamina to glide down. Use that glider that you saw before. There are treasure maps you can find to look for chests that contain usually new unlockable elements for Tchia or for her boat, as you can also personalize the boat. And the way the boat works is actually pretty clever, because you have to first take care of the speed you're going to sail at, basically, and then guide it. And it's nothing too difficult. I'm not sure there will be big waves and things like that to avoid at some point, as I have seen a bit of rain, but not that much to be honest, and it's mainly sunny there, and it makes you want to go on vacation. And I wish the game would come out now, because here, at least in France, the weather is not the best. It's cold, and I could use some more time on the sandy beaches, and again, I know I'm lucky that I was able to play this preview build and that I can still keep playing it, because there's still content I haven't seen. But I think a lot of people are going to find this game very charming, and I hope that the release date will be well chosen, so that it does not disappear, because there are tons of other bigger games coming out when it's time for Tchia to ship. But back to the mechanics, because it's, like I said, it's a game that puts exploration at the core of the experience. But when exploring the world, you can find shrines, but to enter a shrine, you need a sort of totem to unlock its door, and you need to carve it. So once you've found the shrine, you have exactly how the carving is supposed to be like for your totem, and so you do it. And again, it's a very simple idea, and I don't think there will be as many shrines as in Breath of the Wild. I've seen 2 of them. I know there's another one that I know of that I haven't checked out yet. And as far as I can tell, what you do in each shrine will be different too. Don't expect. I could be surprised because I haven't seen everything, but the two I've seen, there were no puzzles inside. It was more about avoiding the light for the first one. You'll see that in a bit, and a sort of a rhythm game for the second one I've seen. And I was actually not sure of what to do, which is why I was pausing in the video, because I wasn't sure I was supposed to touch the nose or not. So when you have the totem, you can go back to the shrine, and you have to walk there, although there is a sort of a fast travel system. If you find like small ports, you can go to a port and then fast travel to another one. But you will still have some walking to do to get to the location you are actually trying to reach. So when your totem is good, you can open the door or the gate rather, I should say. I'm not even sure what it is. It's a big rock blocking the way, and then you can enter. And in the shrines, you have something to do that will allow you to get an item that will allow you to increase the meter you saw when you use soul jumping. So when you inhabit an animal or an object, you can do it for a certain time, and the more, I think they're not fruit, they're plants. I think they're soul plants or something like that. The more soul plants you find, and the longer you can inhabit an animal. So meaning that you can probably traverse the environment much faster if you're a bird, for example. But also if you're a dolphin or a shark, as you can be echo the dolphin, and you can jump, and it's actually pretty nice. There are actually tricks you can do when you're a Tchia and you dive, but also when you're a dolphin. So in this sequence, I was supposed to stay out of the light. It's not a punishing game by any means, so even if you do get caught, you're just going to have to not even to start over. I think there are probably checkpoints, so you have to start just one bit of the sequence, and then you get to this, and you can enjoy more time inhabiting an animal. So I'm showing you also here that you can customize your boat, and it's actually also not something you have to do, but it's nice to be able to take the time to do it by unlocking different elements, different things, and I spent quite a lot of time just sailing because it was a rather quick way to travel around the island, and also I wanted to be able to show you nice vistas. Which is something that, again, I felt I had to do, because it's also what Tchia is all about. It's a very nice looking game. I'm not sure, I don't think I've said that, but you're not going to see where Tchia is when you are where Tchia is on the map. The boat will always be indicated, so if you travel on the boat, you'll always know where you are, but if you travel on foot, you're going to have to use everything that's around you to understand the path you see on the map, but you're not going to be able to see precisely where you are. There are actually signposts, whatever they're called, that you can use. You can press the button when you go near them, and you can see where you are on the map. So it's like it's not exactly a checkpoint, but it shows you where you are if you get lost. The ukulele is also used for soul melodies that allow you to change time of day. This is a bit reminiscent of what the Wind Waker would do at the time, although I don't think there's anything related to wind here. But you can change time of day. You can switch. You can also, if you need an explosive fruit, I'm not sure if it's a fruit, but again, whatever, you can also play a certain melody, and then it will appear, and then there's a cooldown for just a few seconds, and you can do it again if you need it. There's also one thing that allows you to basically bounce a bouncing plant, and if you can reach new heights and you don't want to climb. And I wanted to show you these rhythm sequences with music, and actually this one is a song that I think we've seen before in one of the official videos, as I was familiar with the song, and it's in French here. Not sure if there will be actually English dubbing. Can't remember if there was anything related to that in the option menu. I know that you can either play in French and also the local language, or one of the local languages there in New Caledonia. And these sequences are actually pretty nice. They're not that easy. I mean, it's not Guitar Hero or a Rock Band by any means, but this one is rather slow. But there's another one in this second shrine I found that was a bit trickier, to me at least. Only grudge I have against these sequences is that if you can activate the auto mode by basically clicking on the left analog thumbstick, and it's, when you clench the controller because you're a bit, tense, maybe because you don't want to miss a note, actually it can happen by accident, and I think that's maybe if it were actually on the other thumbstick it would work more for me, but maybe it's just me, and it's not something that will bother a lot of people. And again, if you don't like these sequences, or it's too difficult and you just want to enjoy the music and the way it's staged, what happens on the screen, the scenery, the camera movements and everything, you can simply go into auto mode, and it means that if you have a child who wants to play a Tchia, well, he or she can, and that's what my 7-year-old daughter actually does, and she really enjoys the game because she takes her time, she does what she wants, she doesn't have to follow the objectives. There are mini games of different sorts. This one is also probably a bit trickier, at least with the controller. It's manageable, but can't say I was very comfortable, although I could have tried with the mouse, but I didn't. But those are things that you don't need to do, but you can choose to do them once in a while. There are not tons of them in the world, so I think the developers are not afraid of, let's say, silences in a way, or empty spaces or places, I should say. Not that I believe the world is empty, but it's like you don't necessarily have to have an activity popping out every 2 seconds, like in a Ubisoft game, for example. And I think that's a welcome change, because you can take the time and you can enjoy the place. And as I said, it's a very inviting place to explore, and actually pretty big too. The size of the main island is quite impressive, and I'm looking forward to seeing more. Now, obviously, like in many other open world games, you also have certain areas where you can locate the different things you can do around the place. So it's like a tower in Assassin's Creed, if you will, and you can use these different locations to basically navigate the more easily. And you can use the map or the compass that you can actually have on the screen at all time if you want. Another mechanic that is very unique in Tchia is you can use trees to move much faster. You can bend trees, and you can how should I put it? Basically, it's using that moving back and forth when you're on top of the tree, and then you're being thrown into the air, and you can use your glider to go further, and it works very, very well actually. And like I said, it's quite unique, so it makes it original and fun to use. And that's another thing that I truly enjoyed in the game, although you can also choose to just walk around and run. Diving is also an option. I'm going to use my ukulele here, and one of the melodies I have unlocked to have a sort of more oxygen, basically, so I don't have to use my stamina when diving. So I have a certain amount of time during which I can breathe underwater to find pearls here that in combination with other collectibles I found can allow to purchase again, like outfits or things like that, cosmetics basically. So again, not things you need to do or you have to do, but things you will be drawn to do because you want to spend more time taking the time diving in, so to speak, and just enjoying the world, the game world, the environment. And actually it looks very nice underwater, so it might not be a Horizon Forbidden West by any means, but it still looks very, very nice for an independent game that is being developed by a team of 9 to 10 people. Again, remember that, keep that in mind. It's not the same scope as a Zelda game, but still what they do pretty well. You know, it's probably not perfect. I don't know if it will manage to stay fresh throughout the experience, but I can speak for myself and say that the 6, 7 or more hours I've spent on the preview build, I've never gotten bored or anything, but that's also because it's a game that is probably a game for me, and it might not be for everyone. Another type of minigame here, probably not the most interesting one, as I'm not even sure you can fail, which in a way is good because I don't think it's very easy to really put the different rocks at the right place, and sometimes like this one I don't think it's possible to use it, and I don't know if there's an unlimited number of rocks you can use, and I don't know if there's really physics involved, as you will see. Not even sure how this actually works here, but same thing. I can say not for sure, but I'd say that once I did that this activity, I was able to unlock a soul melody for the ukulele, so it could be convenient, but there are not many of them. Again, you need to find them in the world, you need to explore, and there's I think there's I'll have to see the rest of the game, but it seems that what they want to do is if you explore, you're going to be rewarded in some way, whether it's with a beautiful and nice landscape, or by unlocking new elements for Tchia to play dress up, or by being able to unlock new magic powers with the ukulele. That was the bouncy plant I I used here. And one thing I wanted to say also, if you find the image is a bit grainy, it's because there's a grain effect that I didn't know I could deactivate, as it was not in the graphics option menu. It was I think it was in the main one, and didn't truly see it before I ended the recordings. But if you mind the grain effect, you can deactivate it. Another thing you can do is there are races. That's the one race I actually have tried, so I don't know about the others. This one was not difficult by any means. It was again, like the rest of the game, pretty peaceful, and the music accompanying the scene was nice, as is the rest of the soundtrack. I think I've fallen in love with the soundtrack, to tell you the truth. It feels like you're on vacation. I think I've said it before, but that's really key here. I mean, there's the sun, so you have the visuals, but also all the sounds and the wildlife you hear, the waves, the water, the ocean. And you can take pictures. I mean, you have an old school camera. Only problem is when you take the picture, you cannot move. You can't not walk anymore. So you can move right and left and right, but you cannot move forward or backward or anything. You can then take some time looking at your photos, and you can also use filters but only problem is that because it's an old school photograph, I think it's pretty smart. That's the way they do the filters, but you don't get to see what they do. So sometimes it's pretty easy because it's called black and white or sepia or things like that. But it's not always very clear. So the one I'm choosing here, so I take the picture. No, I choose. Okay, so I take the picture now, and then I can go back to the shed here. So I can, because it's not a modern camera, so you need to prepare the pictures, and then I can check it out, and it looks a bit like I'm in No Man's Sky now, but still it looks nice. So this is another thing you can do, and I'm going to take you slowly to this second shrine I unlocked. So here you can see that you can dive and you can do tricks. I wouldn't mind if the tricks did not appear on the right side of the screen, as I don't think they're really necessary. And this is the the second shrine I was telling you about, where you basically have to play music along with these animals, who they all seem very happy that you're playing the music, and they're all dancing. So it's a bit surreal, but it was a fun little sequence, and this one was actually not very easy for me to play. I think I missed a few notes, and but it's one of the main themes, I would say. I'm not sure it's the main theme in Tchia, but that's music you hear when traveling when just exploring the world. And music is not always there in the background. Sometimes just ambient noises, and I think it's a good thing. But I hope that the other songs or melodies you can play in these music sequences are a bit varied, because I really like them, and I think they're excellent. So that's another thing that I like about Tchia. There's it's varied. It's inspired by many games, but they do it in a very good way, and they have some unique features too, and that's not something all games can say they have. And for a small team, again, I think that actually shows they love video games. And then we're going to talk about the visuals, if you don't mind. So I'll join you in the next section. So I'm still here, and I'm sorry the video is so long. I was so eager to show you as many things as I could that I didn't realize that 40 minutes would actually be a very long talk. So let me tell you about the visuals now, as I believe that the game looks truly gorgeous. It runs on Unreal Engine 4. It runs very well for a game that is not final yet. It was the PC version I was able to play, and that you're seeing here. And in 1440p, it ran very smoothly, almost no hiccups. In 4K, I had to use the resolution scaling down to probably 70% to be able to run it rather smoothly on my 20 Ti. But if in case you don't know, my 20 Ti is probably a bit tired too, because the thermal paste is basically dead, and I'm not sure it can affect the GPU and how it works, but at least I can say that for me to enjoy the game smoothly, I had to play in 1440p, which was very fine. There was no DLSS option in the preview build. I hope they can add it in the final game, as I think it can make sure that a lot more people will be able to enjoy the game and the best possible performances. But it's a game. There's a nice draw distance. I also like the animations. I don't know if you saw that, but there are little details like when Tchia swims underwater. You can see that her her cheeks are, all the air she has inside her cheeks actually shows, and it's actually a funny touch, a funny detail that I believe other people might also enjoy. And I wanted to show you more landscapes because I think that we need to pay tribute to the work of this very small team. The art they've chosen, I think, works very, very well. The water looks amazing. I would even dare to say that it looks better than in some AAA games. And that it makes it even more inviting as a place to explore. You want to go in the water. You want to look at it. And my two children were really amazed by the beauty of this place. The New Caledonia, as of the game, is actually a very welcoming place where you feel no threats. And the only thing I haven't shown in terms of gameplay, actually, and it shows that you can play the way you want, is there's a bit of combat in the game. It has been shown in the official trailers, but there are very specific locations where you have these creatures that you need to burn. And I didn't even actually think of capturing these sequences because you don't have to play them. So maybe in the course of the story we'll be actually asked to complete some of these fights. But in the preview build, I just wanted to explore. I just wanted to find new places, to new locations, and it's like I said, it's the emptiness of the world, and I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just the fact that you're not thrown a specific activity every 2 meters, and I think it's what I've enjoyed the most. Just being able to look at the sunset and look at these colors. I mean, probably not realistic, although I've never set foot in New Caledonia, so who knows. But even though it's not realistic per se, it's it looks like a Disney cartoon in a way, and that's really something that I enjoyed. And just walking slowly through the high grass like this, and then you get to this vista where you're going to see the village downhill, and it's a small touch, but for me, who's into discovering new places, I like a good story, but also I like a good world, and this world is believable. This world actually is organic, I should say. It's a word that has been used a lot in several games lately, but I think it fits this game perfectly, as everything seems real enough. I mean, it may not look realistic in the way that the characters look, and the animals themselves and their animations that are a bit over the top in a way, but the different elements that the island itself, it looks like a real place, and it looks like a place that I'd like to go on vacation to, and I think that's the point, and that's what the developers were actually trying to do and are trying to do. Remember, there are a few more months of development ahead of them, and they can even probably make the game even more appealing. In terms of bugs or glitches, I have to say I haven't seen any. So I would say that in the game in its current state is very polished, and that things work well. I had a few crashes, but I think it was probably due to Riva Tuner that was on. But again, don't worry about these things, because it's a game that is not final yet. And look at this place. It actually is a real place in New Caledonia. You can find pictures of this place, and I was really happy to find it in the game. And another quick look at a sunset. Incredible sunsets, really. It's again, I know that it probably isn't very realistic, but the skyboxes are beautiful, and I don't think the game needs any rain, although I know there is rain since I've seen rain. But look at this, and I'll let you enjoy this, and I will try and conclude my thoughts on this preview build. To conclude on this, for this very, very long video, preview video of Tchia, in a nutshell, in case you haven't understood it yet, I've fallen in love with Tchia. It's game world, it's very lovely characters, it's music, it's graphics. It's a game that I can't wait to play more. I know I'm going to be able to play more unless they actually prevent us from having access to the preview build, but I'd like to see other places. I'd like to spend more time. I know that in the more than 6 hours I've spent in the preview build, I have not seen and done everything that I could do in this main island, and I think it's something to be excited about. It's a game that, again, is a game that I think is going to be special. I think I've read that before, but it's a game that is special to me already, and that will probably be special for a lot of people, and not just for people from New Caledonia or French people. As again, don't believe it's because it's French. I don't know New Caledonia. My parents actually went there on vacation a long time ago. I've never been there. It's far from France. So I'm very happy that this game exists. I really hope it delivers when it's final. I don't see why it wouldn't. And I also really hope that people will embrace it, so that we get more games like this, games that are not afraid to give us a bit of emptiness in their world, so that we can enjoy the atmosphere more, that we can basically take more time looking at what the developers have achieved, playing with the different mechanics. It's probably going to be less systemic than Breath of the Wild, mind you, but I don't think that's important. I don't think it can be compared to a Zelda game, although it's one of the inspirations for sure, because it's a different scale. But still, the size of this game world is quite impressive, considering the size of the team behind it. And I can't wait to see what the rest of the game has to offer. I can't wait to be able to upgrade my stamina bar by eating fruit, so I can glide for a longer period, so I can maybe dive in the water without using the air bubble that I was using before. I can't wait to be able to inhabit more animals and do it for a longer period too, by finding shrines and be able to get the soul plants that they hide. And I can't wait for you guys to try Tchia and let us know what you think about it. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this long video, and for not turning the volume down, because I know that, because it was not something I wrote. There are things that I probably said a few times, there are things that I've forgotten to say. But I really wanted to keep it fresh, as for me the game is fresh. And well, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please let me know. If you didn't, well, please let me know too, as it's probably the only way for me and the rest of the team to improve what we do. Video quality was key here, and I tried to do my best so that it's available on YouTube with, a little compression, but also on the website. If you want to download the video, please check gamerside.com. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you, I hope, very, very soon.